Let's face it, the nutrition world is kind of crazy right now.
You don't actually need dietary fiber at all.
Never use the seed oils, never cook with seed oils, preferably don't eat food with seed oils.
I used to have pain in my right testicle permanently. And the next day I took the whey out and the pain went away. So I really don't believe in whey protein.
But let's just pretend for the next couple minutes that I'm your fitness coach, because I want to show you the exact way that I'd set up your nutrition so you can lose weight and maintain muscle mass and keep it as simple as possible for you. So my name is Rich. I'm a personal trainer and nutrition coach. For the past decade, I've been helping people lose weight and feel their best with this exact system. I figured it's a good time to jump on and show you the simple system so you can see success. And hopefully you can read my writing because I'm going to use this whiteboard. Look at this fancy studio I got. Anyways, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with a step I call step 0 because it's not really a step that's going to get you ahead, but it's essential for your success. Because if you don't know where you're starting from, this process isn't going to work. So in step 0, we're going to do 2 different things. First, we're going to weigh in. I suggest you always weigh in first thing in the morning after going to the bathroom. This keeps your weigh-ins consistent and minimizes how many variables are going to affect your weigh-in. Remember, the scale isn't something to be afraid of. It's just a tool to track progression. I'd recommend you weigh yourself 3 times a week just so you have more data points. During this process, don't freak out if one day you have a higher weigh-in than another. Your weight is going to fluctuate, so most likely it's going to be how you slept, the amount of stress that you have, or maybe even the amount of sodium that you had the day before. We're looking for trend lines, not one-offs. Now, the second part of this I call download, because you're going to have to download an app. Now, I made an entire separate video on how to lose weight without tracking your food, so check that out if you're not really a big fan of tracking. But to get the best results, in my opinion, I'm going to recommend that you track your food. Awareness is going to be key to your success. Now, the most popular food tracking app is MyFitnessPal, but personally, I really love the app Macros First. Not a sponsor. Of course, they have a paid version with many more different features, but the free version is awesome. It runs smooth and it has a free barcode scanner, which makes life so much easier. But I really don't care what app you download, just pick one that's going to work best for you. Now, step 1 is actually going to be really simple because all we're going to do is track what you're doing already. Simply go for the next week and track everything that you're eating and drinking. Don't change what you're eating yet, just track what you're doing currently. This builds a little bit of a baseline for our nutrition. A lot of people feel like they're eating really well, but when you have objective data to show you what you're doing currently, it can be a little bit of a reality check. Honestly though, most of your current habits probably aren't very far off from what you need to do to actually lose weight. If you make small tweaks to your protein, your fruits, your vegetable intake, and just try to stick to your calories, you're probably going to see awesome results. So step 2 is super simple as well. All you're going to do is actually take a look back at what you tracked. You're not tracking to see what you're doing in one day. You want to track what you're doing over the entire week so you get a better understanding of where you are. So take the average of what you're doing and take a look at that first. And hell, if the scale is going down, keep doing what you're doing. If it's not though, we move into step number 3. We're going to have to clear the whiteboard for this one. So in step 3, we start to actually adjust your nutritional intake. And we just want to start with your overall calories, because no matter what they say on the internet, calories are king when it comes to your overall weight loss. Now, if after tracking for the last week, your weight either went up or it stayed the same, essentially you're going to take your average amount of calories, let's say it was 2,000, and all you're going to do is drop that by 10%, which would be 200. So that means if you're typically taking in 2,000 calories, start taking in 1,800 instead. So now that we know our overall calorie intake, we want to break down what our macronutrients are going to be. And that's your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. And stick with me because this is much easier than you'd expect. So the main macronutrient that we're going to be focusing on is your protein. I know the fitness industry has hyped up protein pretty crazy, and the fact that you can get protein Pop-Tarts is pretty wild. But protein is going to be an essential part of making sure that you lose weight, but also maintain muscle mass. Protein also helps you stay more full so you don't get hungry in between meals as much. It's your secret weapon against those cravings that hit you at night. So your goal for your protein is actually quite simple. You're going to take in 0.8 grams of protein for every pound that you weigh. I know I'm Canadian, I should be using kilograms, but we're using pounds, okay? Sue me. So for example, if you are 200 pounds right now, you should be getting in 160 grams a day. My writing is awful. I'm sorry for this. Now, if you notice that this number is way higher than your daily average from when you were tracking, do not freak out. You don't need to hit this number overnight. You just want to focus on building that number up slowly. So maybe your initial goal is just hitting 100 grams of protein, then 125, then 150 to 160 a day. But if that sounds super overwhelming for you, I've actually included the link to a free protein guide that I made down in the description of this video that's going to show you exactly how you can get 30 grams of protein in almost every meal that you eat. So make sure you go down there, download that, and make this process so much easier for you to hit your protein goals. But what about fats and carbs? Depending on how old you are, I'm sure you've heard that each one is the reason why people are gaining weight. And that's true to a degree, but it's not the carbs or the fat that's the problem. It's the amount that we're consuming that's the problem. And again, that comes down to overall calories. Now, the nice part about the fats and carbs is that you have a little bit more freedom on which one you prefer. If you like having more carbohydrates throughout the day, feel free. If you prefer a little bit more fatty foods, you can use those as well. This is going to be more based off of what you prefer rather than what's optimal. Now, I would recommend splitting these pretty evenly because carbs are pretty awesome for performance and you're probably going to need a little bit of fiber. And fats are great for hormonal production, long-term energy, and so many other things that we won't go into in this video. But set these up based off of what you're already doing because we want to make this process easy for you. Now, step 4 is entirely optional, but what I'd recommend for most of my clients is actually building out a sample day so you know exactly what hitting your targets actually looks like. Now, as you've gone through the tracking process, you probably noticed that you eat similar things most days. It might not be the exact same thing every day because you're not a psycho like me, but generally you're probably having the same snacks, the same breakfast, and similar lunches or dinners. So taking that information, punch it back into your app, and then make the adjustments necessary to hit your calorie and protein goals. That way you know exactly what it looks like and what you need to do practically. It's great to have all of these numbers, but you need to know how to actually utilize those numbers and what that looks like in terms of the food intake. Now, step 5 is the most important part because you did all of this work. Now you need to follow the fuck through. You need to take action and you need to start making those adjustments to actually hit those targets. Small improvements are great, but eventually you need to actually start to strive to hit those relatively consistently if you want to see awesome results. But what happens if you're tracking, you're following your targets, and you're not seeing any weight loss? Well, if you haven't seen any change over the next 2 weeks, take your calorie total and drop it by another 10%. A lot of times when we're tracking, we're underreporting how much food that we actually have coming in. So if our target calories are a little bit lower than what we expected, that's okay, and that's what we might need to do to actually see some weight come off you. Don't overcomplicate this process though and start stressing out about things that haven't even happened yet. Build off what you're currently doing and start paying more attention to the numbers that you established. Now, I also do have a fat loss checklist that you can grab in the description of this video. You can grab that protein guide, and fuck it, let's throw in a 6-week workout plan down there as well. I'm way too nice to you guys. And it's all free. It doesn't even help set up a better studio than this or help me improve my shitty writing, but it's gonna help you reach your goals this year. So that's pretty cool. So make sure that you grab those down below. And you know, YouTube's telling you to watch this video. So listen to your AI overlords and check out that video. You're gonna wanna keep them happy.